Alright folks, what's up? Hope you're all enjoying Dragonflight a little bit here as we continue to jump feet first into the new expansion. Definitely looks like it's a lot more alt friendly, and what a great time to be playing Fury. I think Fury is going to be really competitive in a PvP space. I think it's going to be fun in PvE. We've got a lot of flex with Fury where it's at right now. Kind of carries where it left off in Shadowlands as being a ton of fun. So we're going to touch on a couple different talent builds here today. I'm playing on what is this, my level 60 Fury Arms Prot Warrior that I picked KSM up with in Season 4 there. Real stable, reliable tune. So what are we really interested in here? Right now we're going to talk about the Mythic Plus build for Fury Warrior. And we're going to start with the class build as a priority. Um, Really, the class for the most part, you're going to go with the talent build that you see on the screen currently. Don't waste any energy on bitter immunity. Having an on-demand health buff doesn't help us, certainly in Mythic Plus where we have a healer. Ultimately, what we want to do, we want to prioritize getting Avatar back, and then we're actually going to go with Titan's Torment. So activating Avatar, cast Odin's Fury, activating Odin's Fury, cast Avatar at reduced effectiveness. That should feel like a legendary Signia Tormented Kings that we actually just recently had. So excited there. It doesn't have the Blade Storm component, but overall we're in a really good spot. Now next we've got a few different options. You can go with the Bleeds with Thunderous Roar. You can go with AoE Stun with Shockwave. But ultimately we're going to recommend going with Spear. Go with Spear of Bastion, put that last point in Elysium Might, and you're going to be in great shape. Now, what not everyone's aware is that with the current talent points that we have at level 60, we're going to get 10 more points as we level up to level 70. So you'll have 5 for your class tree here, and then you're going to pick up 5 more for your spec that you can change at any time. So going over to our spec tree now, we're going to see a prioritization here, and we're going to talk about the Mythic Plus build that specifically, like our Discord groups, are describing as Bloodbath. But there's a couple ways that you can look at it. It's almost like Unbridled Ferocity, and we'll talk about that raid build here in a few minutes. But ultimately, what we're trying to do with this build, we're going to put a point into Ravager, and it'll be great to have that on our side. It's going to fit, really fits the Fury build really nice. But then we're going to jump down and hop into Hurricane. So when Ravager is active, every 0.8 seconds you gain 5% movement speed, 5% strength, stacking up to 6 times. So up to 30% strength buff. That's pretty massive for a clunky old warrior like us. Next, we've got a bit of a choice where we want to go next. I'm suggesting go with Reckless Abandon. Recklessness generates 50 rage, rampage, greatly empowers your next 2 Bloodthirst or Raging Blows. This is going to be a little bit of a Raging Blow based build, and there's a reason for that. Finally, we're going with Unbridled Ferocity. Rampage has a 20% chance to grant Recklessness for 4 seconds. So we've got a nice little synergy here in terms of Recklessness having the potential just to fuel more Recklessness, which is going to be very, very satisfying. Everyone likes that pump when you hit that button. Now, finally, the next 2 remaining combo points you'll put 1 in for Odin's Fury, and that unleashes your power, dealing some physical damage and more physical damage over time. So a bit of a longer dot, but the nice part about this is to all enemies within 12 yards. That's got a really wide range for us on the Fury side. So great to see melee with that kind of damage range. And then finally, we're going to put our last point here. And when you end up with a bit of a choice, some of this is going to feel kind of new, but I'm going to say it shouldn't necessarily. You've got Titanic Rage, and that's saying Odin's Fury enrages you, deals 10% increased damage, and grants you 4 stacks of Whirlwind. So that's absolutely fantastic for us in Mythic Plus, right? We're going to smash out a whole bunch of damage. The complexity of this build is really straightforward. There's another build out there focused a lot around prioritizing annihilation and not necessarily they're calling it the Storm of Swords build, but you basically start backing off. You get away from swift strikes, you kind of get away from raging blows altogether. It's less of a repetitive rotation, but you're managing a whole bunch of small cooldowns now because you're still going with Odin's Fury, just now you're also trying to manage the Annihilator and some Whirlwind. You actually end up needing to cast a few different abilities in here that are a little less familiar for us. So from a simplicity perspective, I want to manage less cooldowns, I want to have less guessing with my rotation, especially if the damage is going to be the same. The least mental friction as possible is what I'm going for. So that's the recommended build for Mythic Plus for Fury. Now, if we jump over to rating, there's another choice. You can go with an Annihilator build, similar to what we just discussed, that prioritizes the left-hand side of the tree, and you end up dropping Raging Blow. I'm not recommending that. I'm suggesting stick with that. You're going to prioritize your Spear of Bastion that you know well. You're going to prioritize Avatar and Titan's Torment. Real easy, straightforward build for the most part. What we will end up doing with this Unbridled Ferocity build, continuing on like we were before, Reckless Abandon, Unbridled Ferocity, check. We're actually going to go with Odin's Fury, Titanic Rage, or depending, you could actually jump, in this case actually I'm just looking at my notes, Odin's Fury, increasing your auto attack damage, could actually be more favorable here from a single target perspective. So keep that in mind. We're not going to be utilizing Whirlwind, so avoid Titanic Rage. Dancing Blades is where you want this to land. And then again, we are going back to Hurricane whenever Ravager is active over on this side. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Really looking forward to where Fury's going to land for the most part. I'm excited for Fury just in general. Like there's awesome times coming. So we'll have some fun here with this big bad spammer, and I hope everyone else does too. Thanks for watching. Let me know what I hit. Let me know what we missed on, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Later, folks.